Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to my updated Blast Furnace guide. You can use the Blast Furnace for either a low requirement solid moneymaker, or you can get some of the fastest XP in the game for smithing. The beauty of the Blast Furnace is that you only need half the normal coal that would be required to make bars, and you can still make a lot of bars per hour. In this guide, I will discuss the requirements for Blast Furnace and the simple travel methods to get you there. Then we'll discuss how the Blast Furnace actually works, and how you should go about making your bars. Afterwards, we'll talk about how many bars you can make per hour and what kind of XP/GP rates that you should expect from it. The only actual requirement for Blast Furnace is to start the Giant Dwarf quest so that you have access to Keldagrim. At this point, they'll let you in and you can start making bars, but there are more recommendations. Unless you're making gold bars, which obviously doesn't require coal, you're going to want a coal bag. The coal bag is a reward from the Motherlode mine. It's overall not a bad grind to get your coal bag, and it will pay for itself in only a few Blast Furnace sittings. Without the coal bag, you will cut all of the rates that I talk about at the end of the video right in half. I also suggest having your graceful outfit since you'll be doing a ton of running, though technically the gloves aren't needed here. Access to stamina potions are pretty important too. Some people don't use staminas because they do cost money, but being able to run the entire time easily makes up for that money. In general, I do suggest higher agility to help with your run energy. The higher the better with anything that you're running in terms of agility, though if you've gotten your graceful, then you probably have a fine agility for Blast Furnace. 60 plus smithing will be a little bit better for your Blast Furnace, so you don't have to pay the foreman 2.5k every 10 minutes. You obviously don't need 60 plus here. More than anything, it's just a little bit annoying having to pay the foreman, so having 60 plus smithing is kind of nice. I do suggest getting ice gloves from killing the Ice Queen who lives in White Wolf Mountain. She is fought during the Heroes Quest for the gloves, but if you haven't done Heroes Quest or don't have all the requirements, anyone's allowed to just go fight her and grab the gloves whenever you want. These ice gloves will be used to grab bars and will speed up the process here, though you could just hold a bucket instead and fill it with water. It is going to be slower. If you're planning on smelting gold bars for XP, you should have goldsmith gauntlets. Some people do gold without the gauntlets and they one-tick the furnace for some crazy XP rates, but that is a little bit more pricey and it is a more advanced method than we'll be going for here. If you've never gone to Keldagrim, here's a look at the map of how to get there from the Seer's Village. Once inside, to start the quest, you need to speak with the Dwarven Boatman until he takes you to a boat ride to Keldagrim. And here's a map of Keldagrim with the building that you're headed to highlighted. If this isn't your first time headed to Keldagrim, you can use the Blast Furnace minigame teleport for very easy travel. Also, there's a nice dwarf at the Great Exchange who will take you to Keldagrim. There are various Blast Furnace worlds that you can use where they'll supply you with dwarves that run the furnace for you. It costs 72k an hour, but it is very worth it since you only have to focus on making bars. You'll make plenty of bars to get your money back unless you're doing the gold method, which spends a lot of money anyways, and I'm sure you were aware going in you weren't going to make money making gold bars. You do still need your ice gloves or a bucket of water for grabbing the bars though, but everything else is taken care of for you. Your job's pretty easy at this point. You can deposit your coins here in the coffer for the dwarves to run the furnace for you, and you can pay the foreman here if you are under 60 smithing. Keep your coal bag on you at all times since you should be filling it with coal every trip. When you're low on run energy, go ahead and grab a stamina potion. It's not a bad idea to get your stamina pots decanted to 1 dose so you can finish the potion quickly, but a lot of players just bring the potion with them and go for 26 envy spots for that run if they're using a potion. To deposit your ores, just click the belt. Now that you can remove the confirmation, it is a little bit faster than it was before, which adds up to some pretty nice time overall. Then you can shift click empty your coal bag and put that in the conveyor belt too. They did make retrieving your bars a little bit faster since you can just hold down your space bar going in and you'll collect all the bars that were made. Afterwards, you just gotta bank and do it again. Let's have a look at the patterns for making each bar, as in what ores to take for each inventory. For steel bars, it's super simple since you just need 1 coal per bar. Make sure you put some coal into the furnace beforehand so you don't make any iron bars, but then every trip you just fill your coal bag with coal and then you bring iron ore in your inventory. You collect bars on every trip. For mithril bars, you're going to have to take 1 trip with coal in your inventory and in the bag, and then you can do 2 trips in a row with coal and myth while collecting your bars. That makes for 2 inventories of bars every 3 bank trips. Admin bars take 3 coal per bar, so you're going to have to make an envy of bars every other trip. First trip is double coal, then coal and addy to make 1 inventory of bars. It's not a bad idea to start off with 2 double coal trips in a row right away. That way you always have some extra coal in the furnace, and you don't have to wait on the coal that you put in after addy ore for all of your bars to smelt. Rune bars take 4 coal per rune. You can start with 2 double coal trips, and then take a trip of rune and coal, which will make for an extra inventory of coal still in the furnace after you get an inventory of rune bars. Every 3 inventories of doing this, you could take a 4th in a row without having to do the double coal trips. In all reality, you'll start to get the hang of it that you're just trying to make sure you don't have to ever run back to the bank with coal still in your inventory. If you don't fill up the furnace too much with coal, then you won't be wasting any trips. Gold should be pretty simple. Clearly, you're just bringing gold every trip, but instead of your coal bag, you want to have goldsmith gauntlets. Make sure that you're wearing the gauntlets when the bars actually smelt. You only put on your ice gloves to take the bars after you see them glowing orange in the dispenser. Then you put your goldsmith gauntlets back on so you don't waste any XP. If you still have any questions about making your bars, be sure to ask them in the comments section below. These are the bars per hours that I tend to manage. I know with 1 tick gold and no gauntlets, some people have gone up to 400k XP, but I'm a little bit too garbage for that. But there is a possibility to break these rates. These aren't like the best possible rates per hour. And if you're a little bit unexperienced at it, you might not necessarily see these rates, especially if you don't have stamina potions or maybe your coal bag or something like that. Obviously, the prices are going to change, so make sure you're checking the profit per bar if you're watching this video far down the road. In general, steel, mithril, and addy bars always fluctuate near 6 to 700k an hour, sometimes spiking pretty well, but rune bars tend to make the 1 to 1.2 mil an hour, and will always really be the most expensive or the best profit per hour here. The thing with rune bars is you do need a decent amount of money to start by buying a lot of rune ore, and making sure that you're buying low and selling high, usually taking a little while to sell and buy your stuff for rune ore. The XP rates from all the regular bars aren't that bad for making a solid profit, but gold bars aren't really that bad for getting your skill cape either. I've used the blast furnace for a lot of money making, and now a lot of my hardcore Iron Man too when I need some bars, and this is just a good mix of getting smithing XP and profit, especially for pretty low requirements. Even for someone who recently got a bond, it's a great way to make your money back from a bond. Only takes a handful of hours, and then you got 14 days to do what you need. If you still have any questions about the video, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you got some useful information, and best of luck in your blast furnace grind.